The CIA's secret mind control experiments are back in the spotlight. Newly released documents reveal details about MK Ultra, a 1950s program using LSD and hypnosis to study behavior control. Pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly reportedly supplied large amounts of LSD for that project. Some tests were done on unsuspecting Americans, including prison inmates. National Security Archive, marking 50 years since the program's exposure, compared the research to Nazi experiments and criticized the lack of accountability.
The CIA actually has been potentially researching how vaccines could be used for mind control, as well as many other methods. The documents that are circulating around are regarding Project Artichoke. So this says, look, we've got this grand idea of how we're basically going to drug people and do all kinds of weird experiments on them to see if we could control their minds. These documents don't show that anything was actually done. It just shows that we've got these really crazy ideas, and they're extremely unethical, inhumane, terrible, terrible ideas. The 1977 leak of documents say, oh yeah, well actually the government did it. They did all of those terrible things they said they were doing in that previous memo. They did it. And now here's some of the archives that we have from when they did all of those terrible things. So, okay, these documents, Special Research for Artichoke, dated April 21st of 1952. The memo proposes developing long-term covert drugs that could be slipped into daily life. Drugs that were, quote, administered over a considerable period of time, possibly being placed in food or water that caused either agitation or depression. These, quote, should include chemicals or drugs that can be effectively concealed in common items such as food, water, Coca-Cola, beer, liquor, cigarettes, etc., and should also be capable of use in standard medical treatments such as vaccinations and shots. We can do all this other experimentation, which nobody will know about. It's sneaky. Sneak it into their Coca-Cola, sneak it into their beer, their cigarettes, their vaccines, their medications. Let's sneak it all in. So there you have it. Oh, those wild conspiracy theories.
But the CIA also made sure most of this would never be seen by the public, destroying most of the files. They were torn and burned just days before the head of the agency was fired by then President Richard Nixon for refusing to help cover up Watergate. Beyond just mind control, declassified documents show the agency also chased a dark tool, discrediting, using drugs like LSD to make someone look insane, then watching the world turn on them.
Companies have taken full advantage of this. Every click, every search, every website you visit is being tracked, logged, and sold. Your data is the product, and most of the time, you don't even know who's buying it or what they're doing with it. You may say to yourself, I don't care, I have nothing to hide. But privacy isn't about hiding, it's about control. It's about deciding who gets access to your personal information, your location, and your online activity. That's where Private Internet Access, or PIA, comes in. With Private Internet Access, you can safeguard all your online activities with military-grade encryption, protecting you from hackers, governments, and even your internet provider. Plus, they have a strict no-logs policy, which means they don't track or store any of your browsing history, so your privacy stays private. One click and you're protected. No complicated setup required. That's why we use Private Internet Access. Get 83% off and 4 months free using our link for a limited time. You can click the link in the description to try it out today.
They were experimenting on American citizens. I hate conspiracy theories that run amok. But you know, a former CIA director is the one who came up with the term conspiracy theory to discredit people by making them sound like crazy people, when in fact, there was such a thing called MK Ultra, Operation Grasshopper, or MK Chickwit. You know, the CIA did crazy, crazy stuff from roughly 1952 to 1975. The Chinese told us in like 1951 that the Russians were using LSD to try to engineer it to be used as a mind control drug. That was disinformation. The truth was the Russians had no LSD program. The Chinese did. So they tried to throw us off the scent by blaming the Russians. We panicked. And by 1952, we started this program called MK Ultra, which began by using LSD experimentally. They started by dosing their own employees without telling them. Several committed. One jumped out of a hotel window.
Dosing them with what?
LSD.
With the hope that...
See if we can control them, see if we can plant memories that didn't actually happen. Then they decided, no, it's not a good idea to dose our own people. Let's just dose strangers out in public. So they went to San Francisco, rented a safe house. They hired to go out on the street, pick up Johns, people who hire, bring them back to the safe house, dose the Johns with LSD, and just see what happens. But I mean, these are like serious crimes you're committing against people.
The CIA paid workers to lure men to safe houses where agents drugged them and then watched them through one-way mirrors and recorded their behavior.
Exactly.
They tried to erase their personality.
Nice, huh?
The goal was often to break and rebuild the human mind. In 1973, the CIA director ordered mass destruction of the MKUltra files.
That day, he testified before the church committee. The church committee specifically told him, do not destroy any documents. He went back that afternoon to the CIA and said, destroy everything.
Why?
Because it was damning. They were experimenting on American citizens. They were experimenting by spreading diseases in American cities. He was fined like $150, and about 15% of the documents were overlooked and survived. We'll never know exactly what happened under MKUltra.
I'm confused. I think there is something strange going on. Like what an odd time for us to be alive. You know, in all of human history. What an odd time for us to be having this conversation right now. So I think there's something strange going on, but I don't know what. And even in the simulation, like the simulation theory, people talk about that at many different levels.
One thing is sure, our consciousness and what we define as reality is only a small part of what is really going on.
I would say that our consciousness is the only thing we can be sure that's really going on. And it's certainly the most important thing going on to any of us. But yeah, it's an unusual time to be alive.
And guys, just to put into perspective how advanced this technology already is, the network says the host was created without a single frame of real-world filming, making a completely digital human that capable of delivering a nuanced on-camera performance. We're in the early innings of what's going to be some big changes.
Scary.
That's why when we flub all the time, you know that we are real.
Live TV, baby.
Yes, upside.
So the first thing I just want to clarify here, Dr. Rempel, is what you're suggesting is that children who have been born to parents, to one or both parents who claim to have been abducted, genetically have the genetic inheritance one would expect of a child of two parents, but inserted into their genetic structure are sequences of DNA which have no origin in either of the two parents.
Yeah, that's the idea. I didn't prove it. Again, I didn't prove it, but I developed a method which can easily prove it. So I need more data, and now anybody can do it. So essentially, the idea was that if there was a genetic manipulation,
It seemed like a normal news report until the end.
Because I'm not real.
Last night, UK audiences watching a show about AI taking jobs, stunned to learn that was happening in front of their eyes.
In a British TV first, I'm actually an AI presenter. I wasn't on location reporting this story. My image and voice were generated using AI.
Before that point, the documentary had shown the host reporting in multiple settings, explaining it was part of a deliberate on-screen stunt to show just how convincing artificial intelligence has become. The dramatic reveal, just the latest demonstration of AI's growing influence.
3 seasons and a podcast.
Last month, Hollywood responding to the debut of a 100% AI-generated actress, Tilly Norwood.
You are suddenly up against something that's been generated with 5 1,000 other actors.
But fears of AI's growth going beyond the screen, with many American workers worried about the very question posed in that documentary.
So we want to find out, will AI take your job?
One major AI company, Anthropic, has said the technology could eliminate up to 50% of entry-level jobs as it improves.
At some point, we're going to get to AI systems that are better than almost all humans at almost all tasks.
But many saying the technology also creates jobs, and a recent study showing that benchmark app ChatGPT has not upended the labor market. But during the massive growth of AI, a reminder of just how realistic it's becoming.
The idea is that we were manipulated by the aliens all through history from ancient times. And but there is also recent abductions, recent manipulations. So we are hybrids, ancient hybrids, but also we're continuously being upgraded, improved, changed. So in recent manipulations, the story of lots of abductees documented wonderfully. I don't need to prove. There is a lot of books, a lot of evidence now with artificial intelligence. You just ask artificial intelligence, you will be pointed to proper books, proper YouTube channels, and proper interviews and testimonies by people who were abducted.